Oh, it's showtime. They caught you mid
They
yawn.
did catch me mid-yawn.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Will.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you
Welcome.
doing?
Wow, that sounds amazing.
I know.
Well, welcome to the Skeptic Metaphysicians.
Well, thank you. Welcome to you too.
It's been a pleasure. Yeah.
Is it over?
Oh no, nope,
What's happening to me?
nope. So the magic of technology. I'm gonna plug in our mouse here
Okay.
so that we don't run out of juice while we're doing this. So I'm not going to do any graphics or anything for now.
Okay.
Maybe I'll do them later. But
Okay.
anyway, welcome back to Skeptic Metaphysicians Live. We appreciate you joining us here every month, every second Tuesday of the month. We are here saying hello and answering any
Hello.
questions that you might have. Today, we have a special surprise.
Do we? I mean, it's not
We
really a
do.
surprise.
I mean, it is a
That's
surprise to
now you're
everybody
like setting
else.
this bar, and
Yeah.
everyone's like, "Oh, really? That's a surprise."
Well, so
It's not a
we've been
surprise.
talking about the fact that every once in a while you get like these channelings and things like that. We never really talk about it too much on the show. That's not what this is. However, it's
No.
it's adjacent.
It's adjacent.
It's adjacent.
It's adjacent,
Yeah.
and it's not like it's like earth shattering as I think you think it's going to be.
Well, all I know is that you got some downloads while during a meditation, and you are being so cryptic that you wouldn't tell me until we came out just to do the live show. So now you've got my interest up.
Well,
I
first
piqued
of
my
all,
curiosity.
We were at the symphony,
We were.
and what a perfect place to meditate.
I know it sounds so pretentious, though, right?
I-
We were at a symphony.
Well, well, we were there for Mother's Day,
Yeah.
and so our daughter plays. She goes to this really incredible music school, and so they got tickets to the symphony. So she got us tickets to go. So that's why I went to the symphony. But I was thinking about this, and they say that math is the universal language,
That's what they say.
the language of the universe, or I guess it's the same thing, right? But music, I think, is maybe the spoken language of the universe.
Right.
Because it's based on math and vibrations.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the whole thing with Close Encounters of the Third Kind, right? In this age of disclosure, with all this stuff going on about the UFO files and things like that, right?
Boo, boo, boo.
That was the universal way of communicating to us, right? We both had music, and that's how we communicated.
Yeah.
So
and you meditated too, didn't you?
I did.
Did you drop in?
I did. I dropped in for a minute or two, then I fell asleep.
Oh, well, you dropped way too late.
Yes, that's the problem. If I don't meditate first thing in the morning, anytime, any other time, I just
which is so weird because you always say you're too tired in the morning to do anything
except meditate. That's right. I mean, I'm just sitting there, so it's good. I can do that. I'm not spending any minute.
Yeah, but you're sitting there, closing your eyes. You just woke up. You're like sitting on the bed.
Mm-hmm.
I just would pass out. I'd just like get lower and lower and lower.
Well, they say when you first wake up is the time where your body, your mind is the most active because it just woke up, and it's like your circadian rhythm tells you it's time to get going, and that's when you have the most apt. You're the most apt not to fall asleep during meditations the first thing in the morning.
Oh, not me.
I've tried.
I have tried.
But were you laying down? You can't be laying down. You have to sit up.
Oh,
that's the problem. You try to lay down, you're gonna fall asleep. If I meditated, if I was laying down, I'd be asleep in a second.
Well, I work out now.
You do work out.
That
now.
wakes me up.
Yeah,
and then I meditate after that.
Right.
So, anyways,
so
we're at symphony. And we're like, okay, let's try this. Let's try meditating, because you're in this space with this incredible music playing. And I don't know if you noticed, but you kind of get into the zone, and we're watching all the violins and the violas and the cellos, and their hands all move, and their bows all move exactly the same. Right. And when they were all playing kind of a similar part of a piece, it was like this wave all moving at the same time.
It's like a flock of birds.
Well, it reminded me more of like a sea anemone, like a living creature, like just one living creature.
Cool.
That was composed of all of this. It was so cool.
So it's like a visual meditation too, in a way.
Well, yeah, but then I closed my eyes.
Then not so visual then.
No, but when I closed my eyes, and just kind of listened to the music and feeling the vibrations, and then all of a sudden, just like I kind of got to an understanding. You know how people, some people, not every people, but some people that have awakenings, it's really difficult for them, and to the point where they almost feel like they're losing their minds because it's so much. And that's basically the download I was getting was it's too much. It's too much to try to understand it now. So don't try to figure it out because it's too much. And it's kind of like, we have the Earth, and then the Earth is in the galaxy, and then the galaxy is in the universe, and then how many universes,
right?
And it was like that on steroids. It's like our consciousness, connects, and it becomes this like universal, consciousness made up of different points. And then those points just become one point in a larger, and then that point becomes one point in a larger thing, and it just expands infinitely. So it's not possible for us to understand on this level, I don't think, because I think we really would just
right. So that makes perfect sense. But I still want to know. I mean, you still want to know. Don't you want to know?
I think you can kind of get an idea, but I think if you truly comprehended it, you would never know, because it's infinite. So you can't know the end of something if there's no end. You can't encapsulate it if there's no capsule.
Well, there's an easy way to wrap your mind around the fact that you can't wrap your mind around it. All you need to think about is the fact that space apparently is infinite. So what does that mean? How is it possible for something to be infinite?
Right.
Like, how do you wrap your mind around that?
An infinite that is constantly building and increasing.
Right.
And growing more.
But growing into what? What is on the outside of the infinite?
That's the thing. You can't. If you try to figure it out, you're going to go nuts.
That's the thing.
And then if you were able to get all that information, then you definitely go nuts, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you hear about people that just get into these frantic, like,
And that is my theory. That is why our brains are developed to become a filter. It's specifically so that we don't overwhelm ourselves with the grandeur of it all, because we do have all the answers. We are the answers. We just filter it all out so we can actually cope in this 3D world.
Yeah. It's like if our whole collective consciousness was one cell in our body, and then compared our one body to all of the multiple galaxies and universes.
So what if we were just one cell in a giant's body?
I mean, that's possible.
Right.
Be a funky looking giant. But...
That's true. Kat says, "Don't hurt yourself." Will, thanks, Kat. Yeah, I'm gonna do my best not to hurt myself, although it's easy to do these days. But
oh my gosh!
But when you think about these kinds of things, it stretches your mind.
It really does. Yeah. It really does. And then I was just kind of thinking more and more about music, and music being the language that unites us all. And it's the math, and it's the vibrations put together in certain combinations. You can actually really physically feel it, whether it's like going downtown, you hear the boom, boom, like the bass, or like we felt in the symphony, like you'd hear some of those really high violin bows, and I would like literally feel it go through my body.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's a wonderful feeling.
Yeah, no, it is. Absolutely. So was that the one download?
I mean, that was it. I told you it wasn't.
No, it was that was a big download. No, I just thought you had several.
No, it was mainly telling me to stop constantly searching, because I don't really want to find it, or to find out that I can't find it.
Right.
So it's like live in the information that you have, and then once you get that, once you understand that, then you'll receive more. And then once you understand that, then you'll receive more. But if you're constantly looking ahead, you're never going to really understand what's in front of you, because you're just trying to skip over. You're trying to jump over everything to that next level.
I mean, at the end of the day, it goes right to what we've always talked about, the importance of being present in the present moment. So you get, you experience the present moment in its entirety, in its fullness, the most that you can. And then little by little, you'll be given more.
And there's so many lessons in the present that we just don't even look at. So many miracles, so many synchronicities.
Yeah. So what does that mean for the world that we're living in right now? Because it's not just our bigger reality, but also the world we're living in is a little microcosm of the overall, right?
Yes, I think so. And I think, who was it that some astronaut that went to the moon, and you see the memes all over Facebook, everything that we know is a lie, and because we're so small and such a little bit of nothing.
I think that was James T. Kirk.
I mean, it might have been, because he did do the space thing, right?
He did, yeah.
But I think that I don't agree with that.
No?
Because right now, it is the full extent of our experience.
Right.
So that is something, especially if we are awakening and growing and becoming bigger and more and expanding and increasing. This is something. Well,
I think that person was talking about the fact that the competition, the separation, all that stuff, that's a lie. That the fact that we are all just one when you see the world from above, all of a sudden it hits home that, oh my gosh, we're insignificant in the grand scheme of things.
Right. But
we're,
what is
we're
the
not,
grand scheme of things?
We're not the center of the universe.
That's what we're trying. That's what we're always wondering. What is the grand scheme of things?
Well, Kat now has a message for you, Karen.
Oh boy.
She says, you just described peace, Karen.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Nice. I like that. Thank you, Kat.
And
he has to read the messages because I don't have my glasses or my contacts on. So it's like, I see some little fuzzy things there popping up from time to time. I'm like, I guess those are comments.
And I would say Kat would know because she is a master hypnotist.
She is. And you need to see her.
She's not a hypnotist. She's a
hypnotherapist.
Thank you. Yes. Hypnotherapist.
And she knows,
yes. And she knows exactly how to find peace. She helps us to find peace. Thank you, Kat, for all you do.
Yes.
By the way, I need to see you very soon.
Yes. He needs to find some peace.
But she would know. So
she would know.
Yeah. All right. So back to the topic at hand, the world in the shape that it's in. I know that you know that I've been going through some challenges right now, but that's not what I want to talk about because no one wants to know about that. What I do want to talk about is the distraction that is being thrown out there. And it's something we've wanted to know for a very long time. But now here's something they're giving us little crumbs about, right?
Yeah.
Look at this UFO here. Look at that UAP here. Look at this possible sighting here. And like, what are you thinking about all this disclosure that's been coming out these days?
Oh, I think they're making such a big deal out of it.
Are they?
Yeah, I think just it is what I mean. Obviously, we're not alone.
But they have.
But like, why like?
But they haven't like all they've released are videos that are similar to things they've released before. There's not something that says this is an alien. This is what they look like. This is what they're here for. This is why they're here. This is who we've been talking to.
Well, what if we don't know? I mean, what if they don't have that specific information? What if they have the ships and all of that stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if someone, I guess would you call them someone's technology was strong enough to or advanced enough to bring them here? I mean, how are we gonna, like what they run out and they need an oil change? Like, what's gonna happen? They're gonna crash. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that there's a difference of opinion here because in the 3D world, UFOs or UAPs are the crafts,
physical objects,
right. Where in our space, we talk to how many people that say it's actually much more than that,
and interdimensional,
right? And they actually are disclosing themselves individually.
So then,
to different people,
if they are like that, then how would we have any one of them captured?
Well, I mean, from what I've heard from whistleblowers or people that are talking about this, apparently things that people from people that know, we apparently do have recovered artifacts and spacecraft or whatever kind of craft and bodies that were recovered from crash sites. So if that is the case, there's got to be some sort of mixture.
How would we even know how to preserve those bodies?
Who says they're preserved?
Well, I mean, unless they're fresh, they're, because you talk about like Roswell, like these things that happened, decades ago.
Well, I think you're onto something because my thought. So I read a book a while back called Flatland. It was a fascinating book. It's a fiction, but it was really cool because it talked about the different dimensions. And there's the whole character, the main character lived in a 2-dimensional world. That's why it was called Flatland. But then all of a sudden, somehow, I forgot how, I got to pick up that book again. It was really good. I think a pencil came in or something like that, like a 3-dimensional something, intruded into the 2-dimensional reality that he was living in. And suddenly it opened up this entire new dimension of reality to him. But a reality that he had no idea, he could not wrap his mind around until it presented itself. So if these things are interdimensional beings, how is it possible for something for us to really, on the 3D way, understand what they are?
Or catch one, or
Yeah. So Kat now says they aren't going to dump everything on us at once. Most people can't handle it. Who says? Why can't we be? So the people who can't handle it are the people who are maybe super religious and are worried that they are, because that's what they're talking about, right? The fact that maybe these are demons.
Yeah, we've been fed this, like the whole like scary aliens,
for a long time, right?
For a long time.
I listened to a podcast that's fascinating. It's called Light, Sound, and Frequency, I believe it is. And it is a podcast that's hosted by two Hollywood producers.
Mhm.
And the whole concept of the podcast is talking about how disclosure or people in power have used Hollywood to little by little drip information for us for eventual disclosure.
I've heard that kind of theory also, but is it like the good aliens or the bad aliens?
Out of vibration, Kathy says. So anyway, but they take each one they take a separate show. I see another comment. Give me one second, get to the second, but I'm gonna finish my point. They take a different, like each episode is a different movie, and they give the backstory of who approached who, and I mean they produced a show called Dark Skies, and so they were actually approached by the someone's the Secretary of the Navy or something like that, telling them they got these cryptic postcards saying you're too close to the truth. I mean, all this kinds of like really cool, like whoa stuff, right? But all right, let's see. So, howdy, Will and Carrie. Here we go. Focus, life force, energy. Oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Howdy, Will and Karen. I'd love to hear your conversations off the podcast, Monica. Yeah, you have. I don't know if people are ready. Talk about people not being ready for that something, right? I mean, that's a whole different type of disclosure. Hi, Monica. It's nice to see you. Thanks for joining us today. And yeah, so I'd love to Focus Life Force Energy, Monica, who works at Focus Life Force Energy. We just had a second interview with them. We're going to talk to you a lot more about this because they've got some really cool stuff that just came out.
And we just had a meeting where you dialed it up.
I did dial it up, and we got a lot to talk about. Yeah. That's coming up in a future episode. The stuff that they're doing is really cool. If you've not experienced Focus Life Energy, we're going to have the link for you to check out because it's going to give you a free trial and everything. It's going to it is life changing. So definitely stay tuned for that. But back to disclosure.
Yes.
So
do you believe that?
I do believe it, yes.
So is it like the communion aliens or is it like the Close Encounters? Because those, they didn't seem bad. They were holding the kids' hands at the end.
So Communion was written by Whitley Strieber, who was a science fiction author. He actually wrote The Hunger and Wolfen and all these different Hollywood movies, right? And he apparently was hypnotized, and a lot of his memories came out of him being abducted and things like that. When they talk about Whitley Strieber on the show, and they talk about the fact that there could have been a point in time when these beings, Whitley Strieber calls them visitors, doesn't call them aliens, he calls them visitors, were trying to understand us a little bit better, and that's where a lot of that stuff was coming from. But imagine, I saw something from Neil deGrasse Tyson earlier today, where when aliens actually reach out and we make first contact, we're going to have no idea how to communicate with them.
I know.
To the point of
it'll be like Rocky.
Well, I love that movie. Oh, I love that book. But even so like granular as, they probably don't shake hands.
Right.
Who knows if, waving hi to them could be an offensive gesture to them, right? We have no idea. So maybe what they were doing back in Whitley Strieber days, to them is perfectly natural way of saying hi.
Wow.
And to us, it's super traumatic. Who knows, right?
Oh my gosh. That's
we have no idea.
An invasive hi.
Maybe they're like dogs and they say hello by sniffing each other's butts, right? Who knows? Nobody knows.
It just doesn't seem advanced.
Sniffing butts? No, I guess it doesn't. But maybe they don't sniff butts. Maybe they wiggle their ears at you or something. I think actually, I don't think they have ears. At least not in the picture that I saw of Whitley Strieber's book. But so apparently, there's multiple types of aliens too.
And I always thought about like the scary ones, like Alien, like those movies, and it's like this thing with the teeth, but they're like traveling around on these ships, and they don't really have fingers. So how are they?
Oh, the alien dude has fingers.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
But like that could like turn dials and whatever.
They got fully flexing fingers.
Because some of them don't. I'm like, how do they steer their ship? Unless they do it all mentally, but those ones just want to eat you. So I don't feel like they would be that,
Well, they also talk about the fact that there was a misinformation campaign specifically to make us afraid of these things. Because remember, at the end of the day, right? Control is all about fear. And if we fear them, the visitors, it's a lot easier to control us. And it's a lot easier to control the narrative when they do say hello.
Right.
Right. So they talk a lot about that on the show, about the fact that it is meant to be a fear campaign. So that, I mean, there's a whole thing, Project Blue Sky, Project Blue Beam, I think it's called, Blue Beam. That's going to be, supposedly it's going to be a false flag operation where they fake an alien invasion.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, to make us even more afraid of it. It's all out there. If you look it up, look up that project. I think it's Project Moonbeam, Project Blue Beam, something like that. But it's out there. It's all out there.
God. Yeah. We have enough to fear already.
I know.
Without going really further than outside sometimes.
I know. Well,
wow.
Yeah, that's a perfect transition then to the next thing that I want to talk about. Oh, wait, Kat says, I agree with the misinformation campaign. Fear is a fierce weapon that's used daily on us. Yes, daily. I would say even hourly. You can't go on social media right now or on the newscasts. In fact, newscasts, I used to work for a newscast. I cut my teeth in a newscast. I work for one of the largest newscasts in the country. And I can tell you, if it bleeds, it leads mentality is 100% the case. Fear sells.
Yeah.
Fear sells. So if they can keep us, fear sells, first of all. Second of all, fear keeps us divided and keeps us controlled. So.
And now we're being taught to fear each other.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, so I'm glad we're making the transition in, and I'd love to continue talking about visitors later on, but all day long today, I've been thinking, what should I disclose today? What should I talk about? Should I talk about the challenges I'm having? Should we drop the facade and talk about this is what we think about what's going on? Or should we still keep it general, right? And I've opted to keep it somewhat general in as much as the fact that that's the wrong focus. The focus shouldn't be on the outrage. To a certain extent, outrage is perfectly acceptable at a certain point. But the most important thing to focus on is in supporting each other, is in focusing on what we can do. We can't control world events.
No.
We can't control governments. We can't control disclosure. We can't control any of that stuff. The only thing that we can control is our reaction to all that stuff. And sometimes it's extremely difficult to control that because of all the stimuli that's being thrown at us constantly, bombarded on a daily basis, to Kat's point. So then I started thinking, well, then how do you handle it? I have a thought, but I'm curious to hear what yours says.
Well, I'm going to go back to what I always go back to.
Love.
It's all about love. Right. I was having a really difficult conversation with a loved one last night. And it's kind of almost like the snowball effect for me, like the love. And as I was talking to this person, I'm like, you can't let these things upset you. You are exactly who you're supposed to be. And I started really kind of getting like into that. And it was just like, you are, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're perfect on the inside and out. And I'm like, you are love. And we are all love. And the more I said that, the more like I started to sound like a freak. I'm like, oh my God, and you're love. And but it's true. Yeah, and that was right. Like, woo, you're healed now. Right. But it like overwhelmed me.
Right.
And it's such an intense feeling. And I can't say this like this tremendous joy, because sometimes it is, but sometimes it's just this tremendous fullness. It's like that vibrational energy, that feeling of completion or something. And when we feel that, when we allow ourselves to feel that and allow that feeling to build and build and build, then we can't really focus on things that aren't love. And for me, that's what's going to do it.
Yeah. Kat, yes, focusing on what we're hating or not wanting to give more power to that very thing. And yes, Karen, love is all we need. It reminds me of a song.
Da, 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 da.
Yes, love is all we need. Sometimes, however, love is hard to come by because there's so much fear that's out there. So I would take the love thought even further and say, yes, you have to have love, but you also have to have love surrounding you as well. So in these times when you find things are difficult, for whatever reason, finding solace in a community that all shares their support for you, that shares the love for you, and you can give back the love to them. I think that, but even the Bible says, if when two or more are gathered in my name, I am there, right? I being love, I think. So the more that you can be in community, the more that you perhaps might be able to get through some of these hardships.
And I absolutely agree with you. And that is a really great way to look at it, a great step to take. But if you can unwrap the layers of the onion, unwrap the ugliness, unwrap the fear, to find that love within yourself, so you're realizing it's there. It's like this orb that surrounds us, that's within us, and you don't have to find it.
You're
from
right.
Someone else.
You're
and
right.
That's hard.
It
is easier to go sometimes into a community where that is reflected to you, but you have to learn. We have to learn how to identify it within ourselves and within our surroundings without someone else, because then that someone else can take the love away and you start back in square one.
100%. That I agree with you completely. That is what I strive for. I strive to find that all we need is inside, is within, right? How many gurus have said that across the ages? All you need is within. Sometimes the within is a little rotten. And so you need to find without to help you to find the within.
And that's what I'm saying. It's a really good step to take. But if you're always relying on other people, you're never really going to have that.
Right. No, that's true. No. And I did not mean to imply that is, you have to always rely on other people, because
I know.
You do need to find it within yourself, and there's no truer happiness than when you find it inside yourself.
Because then you can be the person that radiates love to that somebody who needs that community. You become the beacon.
Yeah. We talked about this a few days ago, that I was listening to another podcast, and they had this Buddhist Rinpoche on, and Rinpoche is a very wise leader in Buddhism, and he was saying, because the interviewer, it was Kute Blackson, who I love. If you haven't read The Magic of Surrender, I strongly encourage you to read it. It's a beautiful book. But he was interviewing this Buddhist monk and talking about similar things. And the Buddhist monk said that it's those people that are treating you the worst that command or demand your compassion more.
Yeah.
And it's super difficult to do. It is the hardest thing in the world, right?
Especially these days.
But he said that he said that if you look at it from the fact that, and Buddhists believe that when someone is mean or hurtful or a bully or whatever, it's for some reason hurting you, it's because they see it as a sickness, an illness.
Yeah.
And so when you see it from the point of view that they are sick, they need your compassion because they're sick. They can't control it.
Right.
And that's a different way of looking at it, where you could perhaps diffuse the situation within yourself, because then when you answer with compassion, sometimes it takes them aback.
Yeah.
And then they drop that behavior sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But Kat responded, Karen, yes. Why Karen, yes? How about Will, yes? Where's Kat? Come on. Karen, yes, it starts with ourselves first. It's physics. We become the magnet for love. It becomes contagious that way. Yes, you're 100% right. But, I like to be right every once in a while too, Kat. I'm just saying.
Just write something.
Yeah, no, it is important, super important to find it within yourself.
But it is hard. And we've talked about it before, because people have a specific idea of what love is and what love should look like, because we're fed that there are only a few types of love. Relationships between like spouses or parents or siblings or friends. And there's what? No,
I'm just, you reminded me of something else. And
so when we don't have those, we don't think about other things like the love of the way the water feels when you take a shower, or when you take a bite of pudding. That I love how that feels in my mouth. Those are little tiny nuggets of joy and love that if you can just collect all of those little moments of love, those are type of love, because you're loving the experience of life.
Definitely. Speaking of love, Kat says, I love you, Will. You are the dude. Yeah. Thank you, Kat. I appreciate that very much. I appreciate the pandering. But anyway, no, but you're right. It's the reason why I was smiling and as you were talking is because I'm full of resources now. There's another book I just finished.
Look at you. I know. You're like a walking library.
Robert Monroe, who is the modern out of body experiences, the Monroe Institute, consciousness research. He wrote a second book called Far Journeys. His first book is Journeys Out of the Body. His second book is Far Journeys. I just finished that book. And in the book, he talks about the fact that love is way more than we ever think that it is. And in fact, what we feel love is in the three-dimensional world is not actually love.
You can't comprehend it.
It's actually a physical act. It's a 3D thing where love in its infinite definition, the actual definition of love, is far beyond our physical capacity for us to understand.
I believe it.
So love is actually way more than all we need. It is everything that we are.
Yeah.
Apparently we are pure love, and the pure embodiment, the expression of ourselves, which is what Kurt Blackson says in The Magic of Surrender. The best way to show love to others is to be 100% authentically you at all times. Yeah. Do not hold anything back.
And when you try to be someone who you're not, you're essentially rejecting yourself, and you're rejecting love for yourself. And that's,
and we do it all the time. We do it so often on a daily basis, right? We hold things back because we don't want to hurt someone, or because I'm afraid what they're going to think about it if I say something like this. So it's hard. Believe me, I'm not denying the fact that it's hard.
I'm just saying the stuff now. I don't even care. You hit a certain age as a woman and you're like,
that's good.
Saying the stuff.
That's good. But if I say the stuff, I think I'll be beaten up. So I better just not.
Wow. What are you going to say?
Well, so I posted, there's some stuff. There's some anger. I posted.
Oh, well, I thought you meant like the woo stuff.
Well, it is woo stuff, but not woo stuff, but self-righteous stuff or outrageous stuff, I should say, because like the group I joined earlier, a couple of days ago, oh gosh, I don't want to get into too controversial topics, but the fact that people have to have love and respect for everybody else. It doesn't matter what sex they are. And the fact that some people aren't having that level of respect for a different sex, it really makes me angry. And if I were to completely say it to whoever, it could cause some conflicts. At the end of the day, I kind of welcome the conflict, because my truth is my truth. And I'm going to have to say it. But when you're trying to keep the peace, it's difficult to just blurt out like someone right now who's super kind and loving, whatever, but yet has a very strange.
So I think we're not going to teach anybody to be more loving by using words.
I completely agree.
I think it's got to be your actions. It's got to be what you model and what you show. And that's the best you can do, is to show someone what love looks like.
Right.
Words help and stuff. Some people need some words.
Yeah.
No, but I know the people you're talking about. Trust me. And telling someone that they're wrong, or that they're not kind, isn't ever going to go well.
Right. So rather than do that, what I'm trying to do, what I'm focusing on, is instead turning to the person that is being affected and say, you have someone here in your corner. I'm supporting you, and focus on that side of things versus the other side of things. I'm hoping that will make a difference. That's all we can do.
All we can do is try.
Yeah. We've meandered all over the place.
I know we have. And we were just going to pop on for 10 minutes.
Yep.
And I feel like it's more than 10 minutes. I can't see because I don't have my glasses on.
It's been 34 minutes.
Holy, that's a lot more than 10 minutes.
34 minutes.
All right.
So we started talking about your downloads at the Symphony, and how everything is way bigger than we can imagine. So don't try. Right.
Well, no, I'm not saying don't try, but don't get frustrated if you can't figure it out, because it's just going to be even more frustrating. And then if you do figure it out.
Well, how many times have we said on the show that we started out this path trying to find the answers, and then now find that the joy is actually in the questions.
Yeah.
Right. So just keep asking questions. Mm-hmm. So Kat has something else to say. Showing up is 80% of life, and compassion goes a long way. Yes, it does, Kat. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would say showing up even when you don't want to is what makes a difference.
And having compassion for yourself when you flip that guy off in traffic. Because we all do it. Yeah. No, I kind of do it below the dashboard though, because I don't want the road rage guy to shoot me.
Right. So we started with those questions. Mm-hmm. We moved into disclosure. We talked about UFOs and UAPs and what they are and who they might be, all that kind of stuff. And then we've ended with the world and how to find love within yourself so that you can deal with all the stuff that is. The energies are rough.
They can be right. Rough,
yeah. Energies are rough these days. They are. Kat says double yes, double, triple, quadruple yes, Kat. The energies are hardcore these days, and it's by design. We are moving into a whole different age, and everyone said this was going to be a really energetically very challenging
ride.
Yeah, so we're in it. We're in it now in a big way. So that's why I'm saying sometimes you need to reach out to people.
Yeah.
And so this is me formally saying to all of you who are watching or listening to this, if you need to reach out, we are here. We would love to have you become part of our community. We would love to have a place where we all talk and support each other and share stories and help each other get through these these challenging energies that are all around us right now, because it's only going to get worse before it gets better, folks. I hate to be but it will get better for sure. But it's gonna be a rough ride before it gets better. So if you need us, please reach out. Don't hesitate. We're going to do something to make it easy for you guys I'm going to do direct links in our show notes for where you can go directly to leave us a voicemail, things like that. We'd love to hear your voice. We'd love to talk to you on these lives. Speaking of which, next month, we have a special live.
Oh,
I want to announce, we're having a psychic come on the show.
Ooh.
Yeah, as a special guest, and she's going to answer your questions. So if you have questions for a psychic, you have the questions that you've always had that you wanted to ask someone who is uniquely in tune with the universal energies, and could potentially give you some answers. Next second Tuesday of the month in June, I believe that's June 9th. That is when we're going to have her on. And I've looked her up, and it's astounding. Ooh. You might have even heard of her before. I don't want to mention who it is, but definitely if you have questions, please send them our way. Email, there's a contact us form on the website. You can leave comments on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you're finding us. We're going to compile a list for this psychic, so that next first Tuesday of the month, we'll get your questions answered. So
like in 4 Tuesdays.
In 4 Tuesdays from today. Ish. Yeah, no, 4 Tuesdays from today. Yeah. So try to keep them generalized, right? Because if it's very specific about your particular problem, like, is my sister-in-law cheating with my husband, right? That's probably not going to be beneficial for anyone, except
if you want to ask something like, is Karen going to win the lottery? That would be okay.
I foresee a question from Karen coming up. But Kat, no, thank you so much. Kat says you guys rock. Thank you. We think you rock too. And everyone who's listening and watching this rocks. And we are honored and privileged to consider you our family, so and part of our community. So thank you so much for tuning in every month. Thank you for tuning in every week on our show. If you haven't checked out New Reality TV, we are now on Roku and Fire TV. You can search for us there as well. We've got 50 plus shows on that platform now, and growing. And we got some other stuff that's that we're cooking up that we're going to be announcing sometime in the future. But how's that for a cryptic tease, right?
In the meantime, remember, ba-ba-ba-da-ba.
All you need is love. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you on the next Skeptic Metaphysicians Live. Until then, please take really good care of yourselves. We'll see you.